wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Simple, dear, I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn, your pawn, your pawn. My love was in think of love like a friend, not an enemy. Feeling I have nothing left to hide. I'll say what you know it when it's right. Keep it simple now, living it before I die. Think of love like a friend, not an enemy. My love was in ever again. I lay
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Tuesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Tuesday. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Sorry that I was not able to be here yesterday. I just couldn't, folks. I was extremely tired. Welcome, everybody. Moanep, welcome. Michael Haster. It was an extremely long day yesterday. Let me tell you. But we are back. We are back. It seems like Trump never declared that martial law. I thought he was going to declare martial law. What happened? Pete Hegseth is in deep trouble, and it seems like he might be taking exit stage left or stage right, whatever. May have messed that one up. Ladybug, welcome. Whiskey Pete. Might be making his exit. He's definitely a drunk, no doubt. Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Vfro, thank you for the follow. No doubt about it. All right, folks, we got to get started. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. If you want to continue supporting the channel, keep doing what you're doing. Keep liking the stream. Subscribe. Do the awesome stuffs. Folks, we are just over 350 subscribers. I think it was 355 on YouTube, so keep doing that. We are 145 away from 500 subscribers. That's not a lot, folks. That's not a lot. Help us get there. Also, if you want to support the channel directly, consider checking out the merch store and ! tip. Manju Misty, welcome. All rumors is on the outs. Yep, we're gonna talk about that in right now, actually. Right now. One second, folks. Give me just 1 second. Yeah, boop that subscribe button and like button. Sorry about that, folks. Soulfly, welcome. All right, let's get started, folks. Winnie Rose, welcome. I was feeling hopeless last week because I thought the judiciary was going to roll over for Trump. I'm still afraid, but I have a tiny glimmer of hope. I mean, like, out of, like, all the outcomes, it wasn't exactly the worst, I guess. You know? I guess it wasn't the worst. For whatever reason, some kind of breakthrough of lucidity happened. And Trump didn't get the rubber stamp that he thought he was going to get with these rulings regarding the deportations. Sassy Sassari. More like a difficult rubber duck and some Funko Pops. That's true. There's rubber ducks, and there's indeed a Bernie Funko Pop. Already subscribing. Down Duck is a difficult duck indeed, but we love him dearly. Waited too long to post a link in chat. Oh, it's all good. Appreciate it. Pete Hegseth, let's do it.
I am of two minds when it comes to Pete Hegseth because, on one hand, if we're going to have destruction of our government functioning, or, you know,
I mean, like, let's be honest, like, no matter what, like, these people say, like, Pete Hegseth is basically, like, on his way out, right? They tried to deny it at first, right? They tried to say it was fake news, I think was the actual direct quote. They tried to say it was fake news, but it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it.
Sort of slash and burn tactics. I think I would prefer it to happen with our military because we seem to have so much redundancy, waste, and unnecessary expenditures and global size. I don't know if we're up to 1,000 bases around the world now. It seems out of fashion to count how many we have. And despite the fact that we have one of the most peace-loving presidents maybe in the history of the country, we have been now bombing the Houthis in Yemen for...
Also, I'm pretty sure they might make a reference to this, but, like, apparently there was, like, Signal Gate Part 2, apparently. So not only was, like, these military strikes being put on a signal chat between themselves, but apparently they had this information was being disclosed in another signal chat with, I believe, family members as well. Yep.
Or close to 45 days. I think it may be even a little bit more.
On Israel's behalf, essentially, because the Houthis in Yemen have been engaging in a shipping blockade off of their own shores, which is kind of a tactic that's been used throughout time memoriam by nations. But the United States calls that terrorism.
Because they were observing the ceasefire, too, just to add on to what you're saying, until Israel broke the ceasefire.
Yes, and they've been engaging in the blockade to put pressure on Israel and the United States to stop funding this genocide of the Palestinians.
And let's be clear, U.S. shipping through in that lane is, I think, in single digits percentage-wise. If not, then just slightly more. And for a country that claims to want to impose tariffs and force some type of parity between us and the rest of the world, why would we be there protecting the shipping lanes for other countries?
JD Vance said that in the leaked chat, which was saying that this might be incongruent with our more isolationist messaging on Europe.
Yeah, I mean, like, who cares, right? Like, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. You can't hypocrisy shame these people. You can point out as much as you want, like, hey, well, you guys are being a bunch of hypocrites. You guys say that you're anti-war, but here you are, not being anti-war. You say that you want to be more isolationist, yet here you are not being isolationist. I mean, like, yeah, it's par for the course when it comes to fascist regimes to have constant contradictions, right? Because it's kind of like necessary. I'm just me, welcome.
Because they were claiming it was to help the Europeans.
It's funny you bring up group chat, because we know that because Mike Waltz, the national security advisor, set up a group chat on Signal, which is an app that you can't install on government devices. And
well, you can, but you can't do privileged communication.
Right. I mean, like, yeah, even if you could, like, have every access possible, like, even if Signal was completely, like, okay to install on a government phone, like, you shouldn't be doing official stuff that needs to be, like, it's not just about, like, security, right? But it's also about records. It's also about keeping records. The whole point of those specialized, like, government chat rooms or government chat applications is to also have a record of these things. Apparently, some people in other parts of the world think Trump was sent by God to destroy the U.S. I hate that our country is so hated and deserves it. I mean, if anyone, right, would be the person to destroy the country from within, like, that's a pretty good candidate, I would say.
On that, you can't do classified communications on it.
Well, I mean,
right,
plans to attack a country, specific plans when planes and whatnot are taking off. Why would that be classified?
Right.
That was the chat where they accidentally added a reporter. Well, it turns out that Pete Hegseth had another Signal chat on his own personal phone again. And this one included all the people, if you're a Defense Department secretary, that you need to bounce off to,
but her emails,
the details of an imminent attack about 2 hours out, 3 hours out. Various aides, his private attorney, who recently got recommissioned to work as, I guess, a JAG in the Navy, so that he could be close to Pete. His brother, who has nothing to do with these type of attacks, and of course his wife.
Right. Like, yeah, okay, so it did include family. This is fantastic. This is phenomenal, right? Like, you know, this is the kind of stuff that screams competence and a care for the job that you're supposed to have tentatively, right? I really think Trump is doing his version of Confessions of an Economic Hitman for Russia. How dumb do you have to be? Just maybe just very, very inebriated. Okay. Maybe just Hegseth levels of inebriated that you start making signal chats about airstrikes. Kyle Kalinske uploaded a video today claiming that Israel is directly controlling U.S. foreign policy. I haven't been able to see it yet. I mean, like, to the extent that they do, I mean, yeah, I think in Israel, the Israeli government does influence some level of foreign policy, specifically with regards to the Middle East. Like, for example, our stances on Iran. Also, what we've been doing in the bombing runs against the Houthis. That does not surprise me.
Because here's the thing that I found when I was married. There would be a lot of times I'd have work communication.
Bad lefty,
but
welcome.
then my wife might say, hey, will you pick up something at the supermarket? Combining that is a stroke of genius.
Absolutely.
So,
it's called the Department of Government Efficiency.
Exactly. So there's this, honey, will you pick up some stuff at the supermarket? Yes. And incidentally, in 2 hours, we've got these type of jets flying off of this carrier and those type of missiles that will be hitting this target. And I thought you should just know.
Well, he's got to be open and transparent with her, and she probably has some rules about that given past behavior.
Oh, well, that also could be part of it. I want to hear everything, including the top secret stuff. So Hegseth's wife, Jennifer, and to be fair, she's probably qualified to have this information because she was a former Fox News producer.
Right, of course.
Was on the chat called, and this was apparently a chat that was set up prior to his confirmation, called Defense Team Huddle.
Let's go, team. Let's kill those civilians in Yemen on behalf of Israel.
Hegseth shared information, this from the New York Times, about the Yemen strikes in the Defense Team Huddle chat. At roughly the same time, he was putting the same details in the other Signal chat group that included senior U.S. officials and, inadvertently, The Atlantic Magazine. This is people familiar with Hegseth's chat group. The Defense Team Huddle Signal chat until recently included about a dozen of Mr. Hegseth's top aides, including Joe Casper, Mr. Hegseth's chief of staff, and Mr. Parnell, who...
Bad lefty, welcome. Kirkenstein's monster, welcome.
Is the Pentagon chief spokesperson. The chat also included two senior advisors to Mr. Hegseth, Dan Caldwell and Darren Selnick, who were accused of leaking unauthorized information last week and were fired. Caldwell and Selnick were among three former top Pentagon officials who proclaimed their innocence in a public statement on Saturday in response to the leak inquiry that led to their dismissals.
Yeah.
Now, it's unclear what they are accused of leaking, but my guess is that since that time of their firing, they may have leaked this. But here is Pete Hegseth explaining all of this away. It makes total sense when you hear him.
Let's hear him out.
He was at the Easter egg event on the White House lawn. Now, this is the one where I think all of the cabinet officials had to wear patches. Maybe it's on his back. We can't see it. Of the company that's sponsoring them for the day. That's the way they raised it.
Like the NASCAR jackets?
Exactly. I mean, who knows what's on the back of there? It could be.
I mean, like, that's how, honestly, like, that's how politics should be done. Seriously.
He could have a Meta patch or something like that on the back of his sport coat.
Do you have anything you want to say, sir, about the Signal chat controversy?
You know, what a big surprise that a bunch of, a few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out from the same media that peddled the Russia hoax.
Right, but wait a minute. I thought there was no leaks. I thought everything was good. He's hammered in this clip. Oh, I would bet like American dollars, real American dollars, that this dude's hammered.
Won't give back their Pulitzers. They got Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. Pulitzers for a bunch of lies and on hoaxes.
Yeah. Famously, what happens to journalists who lie, right? They win Pulitzer prizes. When you manufacture stories, you win Pulitzer prizes, I guess. Well, I mean, the chances of that. Compares left and right here, in front of his ear. Look at the kids' faces. It's great.
Time and time and time again. And as they peddle those lies, no one ever calls them on it. See, this is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people.
I really wish they would ask, like, hey, real quick, Mr. Hexet, sir, have you been drinking? Cause I mean, his left side is way shorter. I didn't notice that.
Their reputation.
It's really
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can we pause it for a sec? Because like the last time he did this denial with the nobody was texting war plans, he looks right into the lens. He breaks the fourth wall. It's a tell for him. Also, people on the internet pointed out that he only has one sideburn shaved.
Wait, what? Which sideburn does he have?
Oh wait, that's what you guys are pointing out? I didn't even notice. I thought you meant like the side of his hair. I was what? Well, which is it? Is it a hoax, disgruntled exploit, lies perpetrated by the MSN? Who knows? It's all of them and none of them, right?
This one is significantly, the one on the left side of his face as we see him is significantly longer than the one on the right. And once I've said that, you're not going to be able to notice anything else.
Oh,
so that's why I didn't say it up top.
He was in a hurry, I guess.
To be fair, he probably is shaving past, after, 5:30 a.m. And we know, 5 o'clock is when you can start drinking.
Right.
He just gets rid of the a.m. or the p.m., I think, is probably. I think
Jesus. He can't even shave himself.
He's also doing as he looks into this camera. I think there's a bunch of other cameras. And I think he's like taking his turn, looking straight into these cameras. And that's how you know he's telling the truth.
I feel like that's too much like, oh, you came straight from Fox News into this role, because normal people who have your position don't do that all the time.
Right.
No, of course not.
Also,
that's his scam. But let's just be clear.
But how can it be the fake news? I'm sorry, and also the disgruntled employees confirm
it doesn't matter.
leaking to the press.
Exactly.
It can't both be that the
in their world, okay. As chat also pointed out, in their world, like all these contradictions, all these things are quite capable of living in their head at the same time, right? Like all of these are completely acceptable positions to have simultaneously. Heat, how's it going? Reality show boss and reality show employees. Yep. Welcome. Hard to shave while drinking. True.
the media is making it up, and he basically confirms that those people who they threw under the bus, Caldwell, Selnick, Carroll, Casper, these are the four that were fired because of this first Signal Gate. Then they're talking to the press saying, hey, we got screwed over. It wasn't our bad.
You know, that also raises the question of who are you sharing these details with? If it is this easy,
right? And like, what else are you doing in that's not being that's not being recorded, right? Because again, the whole point, Saris, welcome. The whole point of doing all of this through the government channels is to have records of this stuff, right? So like, what else is happening that is not being on the record? How do we communicate with people who live outside reality? You can't. That's kind of the conundrum, right? Like, you can't. Like, if you try to talk to these people that are outside of reality, right? It is the exact same thing as trying to talk with a flat earther. There's just literally no point. They live outside of reality, and it's not. You can't have a conversation that doesn't have some kind of foundation on reality. It just can't happen. Pete Hegsat sent me a DK pic this morning. Donkey Kong. Good game. Not exactly what I would be expecting from the Secretary of Defense, but, you know.
This stuff to come out publicly. Yeah. Publicly now, right? Like, where it's quite clear who it is ultimately gave this stuff. How hard would it have been for any of these people to sort of like signal to advance? I mean, we know of at least 30 people who are on these publicly available. I mean, these are insecure devices, and any sort of country.
We see you, Soul Life. Kirkenstein's Monster, that new open world Donkey Kong game looks sweet. It does. But you know what else? It's like $80. Right? Is that the new one that's gonna drop? Yeah, play some games on stream. A thing that I've been thinking about. Out of reality, people make up so much of the population. They are dangerous. What are we supposed to do? That's a good question. We're living in it. There are millions of them. All we can do is do our part to educate, agitate, and organize. Despite them. Play Elder Scrolls. They just remade Oblivion. A game that I have not played, by the way. Hearts of Iron? I've heard of that game. I have not played it. I have Skyrim, but I have not played Oblivion. I have not played Oblivion.
Whether friend or foe, that has any type of intelligence agency, which is virtually all of them, the first thing they're going to do is try and bug the personal phones of people entering into government, and particularly those who are maybe coming from an arena where they haven't had to do this in the past, like, say, the weekend hosts of Fox and Friends. And the idea that this information, battle plans, you want to keep out of the hands of people, just the fact that they fire people who have the ability to expose this is indication that they have been really mismanaging their OPSEC, as it were.
Yeah, these haters who know everything that is outside the
Yeah, something tells me that like they're not really concerned with that. Days Gone Remaster comes out in a few days. I have Hogwarts Legacy for Switch. I have not tried it yet. I've lately been playing Fallout. That's been my nightcap. That's been my nightcap. Fallout 4. I just got like the DLC that came out a while ago with Nuka World and the Far Harbor, I think it's called. I just got that, so I've been playing in Nuka World for a minute now. That's an older one. Yeah, that's been that Fallout is a minute and a half old. Yeah. The Institute. I defeated the Institute. Well, you're supposed to, right? You're supposed to defeat the Institute, or can you join them? I can't remember. The actual storyline, like the main storyline, I completed like a minute and a half ago. I've literally just been playing, just messing around in the wasteland. Just meandering in the wasteland. When I first started playing Fallout, I'll be honest. Not very good player. I kind of just like fumbled my way through. You can absolutely join them, then that's the best choice. Technology equals power. Oh yeah, I had no knowledge of what the best faction to join, so I joined a couple. I think I joined the first faction that I joined was the Minutemen. But yeah. Look, unlike Elon Musk, okay? I love playing video games, but I am not that great, okay? So unlike Elon Musk, I'm not gonna sit here and try to pretend like I'm a great Fallout player. You actually like to play them? Yeah, exactly. I actually like to play them. I'm not very good, okay? I'm better now. But yeah, my character build is not the character that I made in Fallout since like a very long time ago. I'm pretty sure I got it like, you know, a couple of years after it came out. But my character was based off Carol from The Walking Dead. And I even made a baseball bat after Negan's baseball bat, Lucille. So yeah, not really the pro player move, okay? Sophia. I understood that reference. It's called humility, something the right lacks. True. I'm an expert in Diablo 2. I played the same freaking way. Okay, I just meandered my way through Diablo. I think I'm is it Diablo 4? Diablo 4? I literally just picked like the first character, okay? And I just like ran with it, okay? That's it. Billionaires hiring people to play games for them is the most dystopian thing ever. You don't deserve that money. True. I love The Walking Dead. Me too. Pump it up while your feet are stomping. Life would be so hard with only 999 million. True. D4 is the newest, yeah. Okay. I have it on my phone. I have it on my phone. I always pick the Necro, but I've gotten all the classes to 100. Oh, no. Actually, I lied. I'm not Barbarian. I chose the Demon Hunter. Is it the Demon Hunter? Yeah, okay, Demon Hunter. That's who I chose. Because that's what I chose in Diablo 3. That's immortal? I gotta check. Hold on 1 second. I'm tripping. What Diablo? This is how little I play Diablo. Okay? This is how little I play Diablo. Nope, chat's correct. It's Diablo Immortal. He's lying to impress us. Isn't that pathetic? True. To be fair with Elon, I've paid for boosting a few times. But, like, do you base your entire personality on being an epic gamer and are paying people to do this for the purpose of other people to like you? Because, like, that's what Elon's doing. That's kind of what the dig that I'm getting at.
Lines that we're doing.
Yeah, let's make them really mad by firing them so we can protect Pete. Like, it would have just been so much smarter for Trump to fire Pete Hegseth, and then he wouldn't have had to deal with any of this, because Hegseth's already, like, I mean...
very flattering still frames of Sam and Emma. I don't do that on purpose, okay? I always get, like, the funniest pauses on Mike Figueroa as well. But, yeah. Bro thought we were going to believe his phone runs PC games. It does. What? Wait, my phone runs PC games. It does.
I mean, he's playing with house...
I'll show you how to do it, by the way. He also lied about Diablo 4, but Path of Exile 2 is where he finally got called out. Yep. Cap? No Cap. Like, actually not Cap. I'll teach you. So, what you do, I would destroy Elon at risk. Imagine how different the response to Elon would be if you were a woman or any other race other than white. Oh my god, please don't. That would be Gamergate like times 2. I enjoyed Diablo back in circa of 2010. I beat the entire game using only the power of heaven. I meant to replay using hell powers, but I ended up being homeless instead. Sorry to hear that. I couldn't even tell you what the difference is. Okay, I couldn't even tell you the difference between playing it like that, because I've never played Diablo back then. Okay, by the way, before we continue, I'll teach you guys how to play PC games on your phone. First of all, you gotta have a phone with Android, because this will not work with an iPhone. And preferably, you need a decent chip. probably your Snapdragon 8, 8 something, and above. You need a decent amount of RAM. I would say 12 gigabytes of RAM minimum. You're gonna need an emulator to emulate Windows called WinLater, and then you're gonna need your files from the games that you can download, like for example through GOG, like GOG. You can actually download the files of the games, and then move those files to your phone, and then boot them on the WinLater, and you will be able to play your PC games. Like, not all PC games, okay? Because, mind you, it's a phone. So keep that in mind. But yeah, you can play, like, older games, for example, on your phone. I actually was able to get Red Faction to play on my phone. You can play stuff like Hollow Knight. Here, what is it? You can play stuff like this on your phone. That's not to play Warframe on phone. Oh wait, it's already ported officially. You can play something like this on your phone with those stats, and you just need to play around with the WinLater settings. And essentially, it'll look like this. You can run Linen on Linux too, meaning blanket forts are an option. You can run Linux too, so Linux games are an option. Yep. Or immediately assume, everyone assumed the woman wasn't playing for herself. Yep. Hollow Knight is great. I got a tattoo of the little ghost. They used to have a native Linux image created by Samsung. It was great, but those are discontinued. Wow. Really? That would be cool. But yeah, this is how you do it. You need this. And with a... If you have, like... if you have a decently, like, powered phone, you can probably run... quite a few amount of games. The games that I run are kind of older, but yeah. Bampanada. It is cute. The little ghost. Heck yeah.
Money here. He shouldn't be in this position.
But Hegseth, it would be easy to fire Hegseth, except for the fact that, like, every time Hegseth needs Trump to stick up for him, that makes
He used to get his Hollow Knight tramp stamp. Bad empanada.
Hegseth that much more willing to do whatever Trump tells him to.
I think Trump also likes him because of all of the skeletons in his closet, too, because he thinks he's more easily controllable.
Without a doubt.
Discover the Philips Latte Go with Philips Silent Brew technology. Enjoy the quiet of freshly ground coffee.
And time again. And as they peddle those lies, no one ever calls them on it. See, this is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees. And they slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids.
Oh my God!
This is what we're doing.
Now
Oh
he's
my
introducing
God.
everybody to who is on the Signal chat. My dad's over there. He was on the chat.
Yeah, he knew about like this airstrikes. This is like something out of a weird movie. True.
Here's my kids. They were on the chat. This is my kids' elementary school teacher. We put them on the chat. Kids are getting good grades now. Go ahead.
Maybe have the kids go play instead of backing you up on your
Yeah,
media hit.
exactly.
Not
Come over here
again,
and defend
Dad.
He's learned from Elon.
These kids right here. This is why we're fighting the fake news media. This is why we're fighting slash and burn Democrats. This is why we're fighting hoaxsters.
Slash and
This
burn
group, no,
Democrats.
this group right here, full of hoaxsters that peddle anonymous sources from leakers with access to grind, and then you put it all together.
Pause it. Wait a second.
News.
How do we know they're anonymous sources, but he knows who they are?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They're yes.
He's admitting that
but
it's the
both.
disgruntled
It's both.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is fantastic. Remember when that Crypt Keeper woman was the press person and her daughter turned on her for the last Trump administration? Who was it? Was that Huckabee? Was it from the first Trump administration?
One, if it's disgruntled leakers,
right,
it can't be a hoax. But also, what do you mean they're anonymous? You clearly know who it is. They were people who were on this chat.
Right, who you then fired. Then on Saturday they put out a letter, some of them saying this was unfair. And then what do you know? On Sunday, there's a report about that Hegseth added them to his second chat.
All right, let's see who else he was involved in this chat. I think he's got all of them. He brought them all to the thing today.
Anonymous sources from leakers with access to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some news story. And you know exactly what it is.
With big breasts? Is that what he was trying to say there? Wait a second, go back. Hold on for a second. Why did he say
news story? He's like, it's a hefty. It's got girth. It's got girth.
Access to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some news story. And what we know, you know exactly what it is. So I'm really proud of what we're doing for the president, fighting hard across the board, and I'm going to go roll some Easter eggs with my kids. Thank you very much. We have spoken to the president, and we are going to continue.
PB, welcome. I find myself typing faster by using the swipe typing. It's great. I can't do that. I never got the hang of it. Oh, it was Kellyanne Conway. Okay, gotcha. Jesus, sassy Sasserai. I didn't realize that she was the press lady for the first administration. I think didn't he go through a couple of them? He went through a couple of people, right? Nah, I can't do any of it, Donald Duck. I can't, like, I never got used to it. So it's always, every time I'm like, no. And I have a Samsung. The first thing that I did was getting rid of that swipe, or not turning it off, but like just leaving the regular keyboard. Yep. Okay. So yeah, there was a few people. So I didn't. Man, the guy has like a revolving door of like people, because all the people that he brings in always end up getting replaced, like this guy, incidentally. So yeah, I mean, there was Moochie or whatever. I forgot. There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff that happened, that is happening, and that happened during his first administration. Hard to freaking keep up. It makes me feel like I'm casting a spell. Yeah, I used to swipe pretty quickly. I held off too, but everyone kept raving about it in the dev community, so now it's built into the phone. Huh.
Fighting on the same page all the way.
Crazy to have your kids though.
Unbelievable. Kids, I need you guys to back me up here.
I tried my soundboard, but the nobody was texting war plans one was right there. We'll figure that out, but yeah. I don't know. Does he survive this?
Yeah.
Okay, probably.
100%. 100%. I mean, it'll take a while, but there's going to be more, I would imagine. It doesn't seem like they have really locked this thing up much.
Like Biden had those classified files that he reported that were at his personal home, and then asked his own Department of Justice to appoint a special counsel to look into if any information was leaked. Like the idea that this would happen for this administration is so laughable, but like that's a way bigger breach than Biden hanging on to some classified material accidentally and then reporting it, and then they did a double check with a DOJ special counsel investigation. Like, this is such an enormous leak that in any other situation.
Oh, whoops. Sorry, guys. Sorry. So as I was saying, thank you, Sassy Sassy. As I was saying, yeah, if this happened during the Obama administration, or during the Biden administration, these people would be saying that he needs to be impeached, right? This would be like a national scandal. Like there would be wall-to-wall coverage about this. But, you know, since it's Republicans doing it, I guess it's okay.
They would have the DOJ look into it.
Oh
but,
my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to tell you that if I had anybody close to me, if I was in the military, I'd be a little bit concerned about, you know, how secure things are. I don't know that I would want to go out on some type of mission when you've got this type of like sieve. It's a sieve. That's it. I mean,
I mean, if they take some sort of casualty, if something gets shot down or a boat gets blown up or something like that, they're going to investigate it and see all of this lack of discipline.
Well, you also wonder, would you hear about it? Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show.
Writers used to get mad about Jade Helm, but now Trump is trying to send people to El Salvador and start freedom cities on federal land. Yep. What was Sam doing down there? Nobody knows. Trying to do a jump scare. Probably found some old fries on the floor. All right, folks, we got a couple of headlines to go through before we get out of here. Maryland. Boo. This is some Alabama, Louisiana shit. Do better. Yep. Supreme Court signals support for Maryland parents who object to LGBTQ books in public schools because, reasons. Can we please ban straight people from public sphere as well? Yeah, it's true. If we can't talk about, if we want to like, ban like any talks of sexuality or anything like that, then like, yeah, I think this should apply to straight people too. A lot of these lawsuits are brought by like 2 people nationwide. Yep. The Supreme Court's conservative supermajority on Tuesday signaled support for the religious rights of parents in Maryland who want to remove their children from elementary school classes using storybooks with LGBTQ characters. I mean, like, how far, like, does your hatred of people just being people and existing have to be? That, like, you're taking this shit up to the Supreme Court because you want to reinforce your hate and your bigotry and reinforce that on your children too as well. The court seemed likely to find that Montgomery County school system in suburban Washington could not require elementary school children to sit through lessons involving the books if parents expressed religious objections to the material. The case is one of 3 religious rights cases at this at the court this term. The justice, like, but the problem here, the problem here is that, like, if you have like some kind of like, but why would then they be allowed to impose their religious beliefs on everybody else by default, by taking this stance? By taking out these stories and these books, right? Like, isn't that by de facto them imposing their religion on everyone else? This reminds me when they tried to teach intelligent design in schools instead of evolution. That's fine, but you don't get private school vouchers. The school district introduced the storybooks in 2022, so with such titles as Prince and the Knight and Uncle Bobby's Wedding as part of an effort to better reflect the district's diversity. Parents initially were allowed to opt their children out of the lessons for religious and other reasons, but the school board reversed course last year, prompting protests and eventually a lawsuit. The case hit unusually close to home as 3 justices live in the county, although none sent their children to public schools. So then it doesn't hit home. What are you talking about? Okay. I guess I'm a bit mystified as a lifelong resident of the county how it came to this, said Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh, I like beer guy, also expressed surprise that the school system was not respecting religious liberty, especially because of the county's diverse population and Maryland's history as a haven for Catholics. Okay, but like conversely, you can't just be like, okay, so we now get to dictate what happens under the auspices of religious liberty. Like, no, it just means that you're the ones doing the imposition now. Pressed repeatedly about why the school system couldn't reinstitute an opt-out policy, lawyer Alan Schofield said if it tried that and it failed. It was not able to accommodate the number of opt-outs as at issue. Sex education is the only area of instruction in Montgomery schools that students can be excused from. Justices referred to several of the books, but none as extensively as Uncle Bobby's Wedding, in which Anise worries that her uncle will not have much time for her after he gets married to another man. But like, who cares, man? Like, the whole point is reading stories, right? Like, they just happen. Like, they're being mad that in this case, like, a gay character exists. That's it. They're mad that a gay character exists. Okay? Liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor and conservative Justice Samuel Alito, who are on opposite sides of the most culture war clashes, offered competing interpretations. Is looking at 2 men getting married, is that religious objection? Noting that there's not even kissing involved. Right? It's just like, we hate gay people. Right? Like, that's it. That's it. Just like, why not just say that? Alito described the book as an endorsement of same-sex marriage. The book has a clear message and a lot of... So, like, maybe then... So, would the same case be brought when... If we have, like, a story about Uncle Bobby getting married? Like, would the same arguments be made if the story was Uncle Bobby... has a niece that worries that her uncle will not have as much time after he gets married to his wife? Like, would the same outrage, right? Would the same outrage be, if that was the story, would we say like, oh, Uncle Bobby in this alternate story is married to a wife. We can't have that because that is, two people getting married and offering a public display of affection. So like, is that like, do we allow that? Is that an endorsement of opposite sex marriage? Like, we don't talk like that. We only talk like that, or rather they only talk like that when it comes to queer people. One thing I noticed with my conservative boss is acknowledging the existence of gay folks through the media is actually the gay agenda. Yep. The book has a clear message, and a lot of people think it's a good message, and maybe it is a good message, but it's a message of that a lot of people who hold on to traditional religious beliefs don't agree with. No, the message, like, who cares, man? Like, I don't care. I don't. In all 5 books are at issue in the High Court case, touching on the same themes found in classic stories that include Snow White, Cinderella, and Peter Pan, the school system's lawyer wrote. In Prince and Knight, 2 men fall in love after they rescue the kingdom and each other. Love Violet deals with the girl's anxiety about giving a Valentine to another girl. Born Ready is a story of a transgender boy's decision to share his gender identity with his family and the world. Intersection Allies describe 9 characters of varying backgrounds, including one who is gender fluid. Oh no! Like, seriously. Back to All the Night real quick because the Metroidvanias are possibly favorite genres beside roguelites and likes. Rising to play Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree. You check that out. Billy Mogs, the board member of the Kids First parent group that sued over the book, said the content is sexual, confusing, and inappropriate for young school children. Ah, yes. Going to your uncle's wedding, it's just a wedding, right? Like, that's sexual and confusing to children. Like, there's nothing confusing here, right? Like, two people are in love and they're having a wedding. I don't understand. There's even a free demo you can try. You can find out if you even dig it. Cool. The writers group Pen America said in a court filing, what the parents want is a constitutionally suspect book banned by another name. Yep. Pen America has reported more than 10,000 books were banned in the school last year. A decision in Mahmoud versus Taylor is expected in early summer. Yeah, man, this is all just like hate and bigotry. Like, that's it. They're mad that like some stories contain gay characters. That's it. Like, that's literally what this lawsuit's about. And they want the ability to control like the flow of essentially information to kids. They just don't want them to know that like queer people exist. Essentially, they want to control the flow of information. I mean, like, that's really at the heart of, like, the religious fundamentalism, right? I mean, like, that is the heart of religious fundamentalism, is the control of information. Oh, you can't read that book. Oh, no, you can't watch that movie. Yep. Can't think that thought. Thoughts are scary. Let me do that for you. The ghost in Hollow Knight is non-binary. Confirmed? That's cool. In that case, I can sue to opt out my kid out of any book that talks about Christian characters or going to church. I don't approve of their lifestyle. It goes against my religion. Only kind of joking, but it's the same deal. 100%. Like, and that's like literally like, if you make that, but they don't, they think that this is like, this is the default state. That's the problem. They would like, they don't make these arguments and they wouldn't accept these arguments because they think like in their Christo-fascist thought process, they think that that is the default. They think that that's how it should be. Period. I mean, they just don't have a gender. Gotcha. They also think gay is a choice, which is sus, but makes gay agenda make more sense. I mean, whatever they have to, tell themselves to make the ideology work. It's an empty shell, so maybe not a good example. I mean, yeah, right? It kind of is. When you die in Hollow Knight, you have to actually, like, if you go where you last died, you have to, like, fight yourself. PC and Citizen Sleep is, though, and there's other characters in that game that are confirmed. Gotcha. Citizen Sleeper. God the Father is assigned male, but has no corporeal form, which is confusing. Ban children from learning the Bible. True. But see, they would never make that argument. A federal judge orders U.S. to restore visas of 2 international students in Oregon. A federal judge in Oregon on yesterday, ordered the U.S. government to restore the visa status of 2 international students and temporarily block their deportation from the country. U.S. District Judge Michael McShane's 14-day temporary restraining order came in response to lawsuits filed by students at Oregon State University and another University of Oregon following termination of their visas earlier this month. At a hearing in federal court in Eugene on Monday, McShane questioned federal lawyers on which regulations they were following when terminating student legal status. The Oregon Live reported, there has to be some regulations for when it's appropriate and not appropriate. What regulation is ICE following here? Nothing. Just vibes, basically. Asking, McShane asked, referring to the Gestapo. Assistant Attorney Patrick Conti, representing the Federal Department of Homeland Security, said it hadn't had enough time to gather all the information and argued that students didn't face irreparable harm. What? How can you not have this prepared? Like, that would be like numero uno. That would be like numero uno. Like, this is exactly why these visas need to be terminated. You're saying you don't have the information? As a final agency decision had not been issued, they could challenge administratively. The ACLU of Oregon and an immigration law firm both filed lawsuits against the Trump administration, arguing the student visas were terminated without any notice or meaningful explanation. The suits were filed on behalf of Aaron Ortega Gonzalez, a 32-year-old citizen of Mexico pursuing a doctoral degree in rangeland ecology at Oregon State, and a 29-year-old British graduate student, only identified as Jane Doe, who is pursuing 2 master's degrees at University of Oregon. At schools around the county, more than 1,000 students have had their visas revoked or legal status terminated, typically with little to no notice. Students have filed lawsuits in several states, arguing they were denied due process. Federal judges have granted temporary restraining orders in Georgia, New Hampshire, Wisconsin, Montana, Washington State, shielding students from efforts to remove them from the United States. Nobody's immune, but some states are handling things better than others. True. Men wearing flowing robes banned. Marco Rubio unveils a massive overhaul of the State Department with a reduction of staff and bureaus. Is that why JD killed the Pope? He didn't like the robes. There is a conspiracy theory going around that JD Vance killed the Pope. All I'm saying is he was the last person to see the Pope alive, okay? I'm just saying. Just to be clear, that was a joke. Marco Rubio unveils a massive overhaul of the State Department with a reduction of staff and bureaus. Some of the bureaus are expected to be cut include the Office of Global Women's Issues, of course, State Department of Diversity and Inclusion Efforts, of course. Secretary Marco Rubio unveiled a massive overhaul of the State Department on Tuesday today with plans to reduce staff by 15% while closing and consolidating more than 100 bureaus worldwide as part of Trump administration's, quote, America First mandate. Sure. The reorganization plan, announced by Rubio on social media and detailed in documents obtained by the AP, is the latest effort by the White House to reimagine U.S. foreign policy and scale back the size of the federal government. We cannot win the battle of the 21st century with bloated bureaucracy that stifles innovation and misallocates scarce resources. Yeah. Said Rubio in a Department State email obtained by the AP. He said reorganization aimed to meet the immense challenges of the 21st century and put America first. Okay. The CIA can unalive people with a handshake. I saw it on a documentary. The State Department spokeswoman, Tammy Bruce, echoed in a statement saying that the sweeping changes will empower our talented diplomats, but adding that it would not result in a immediate dismissal of personnel. It's not something where people are being fired today, Bruce told reporters on Tuesday. They're not going to be walking out of the building. It's not that kind of dynamic. It's a roadmap and it's a plan. I'm sure the VP can get access to that stuff. Pope Francis Woldeyev, let's not spread conspiracy theories. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he was very ill. In fact, he was ill for months. The actual cause of death was revealed. He was just very sick. That's the actual, like, thing. Maybe it was on purpose. Maybe Vance is just pure evil and touching him was too much for the old guy. We cannot know for sure. All right, no, but seriously, okay, like that did not happen. Vance cooties, yep. It includes consolidating 734 bureaus and offices to 602, as well as transitioning 137 offices to another location within the department to, quote, increase efficiency, according to the fact sheet obtained by the AP. There will be a reimagined office focused on foreign and humanitarian affairs to coordinate and aid programs overseas to the left of the State Department. The reorganization was driven in part by the need to find a new home for the remaining functions of a U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, an agency that Trump administration officials and billionaire ally Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency have dismantled. The State Department's reorganization plan appears to eliminate an office charged with surcharging expertise to war zones and other erupting crises to scale back work on human rights and justices. Although the plan will implement major changes in the department's bureaucracy and personnel, it is far less drastic than an alleged reorganization plan that was circulated by some officials over the weekend. Numerous senior State Department officials, including Rubio himself, denied that the plan was real. Okay. Vance was covering with some dirty hotel furniture and passed something to the Pope. No. The Pope said anti-Trump stuff to Vance, and Vance is a Catholic. I'm sure someone in the circle wanted the Pope gone so a less woke Pope could take his place. Nah, this wasn't sudden. Like, this wasn't a sudden, the media hasn't really reported much on, like, the Pope's status, but, like, he's been sick for quite a bit. He's been sick for quite a bit. I've been having a lot of fun with it, just the timing was too much. Also, Vance is evil. Oh, that part is true. That part is true. Work that has been believed targeted in that alleged leaked document survived, at least the Bureau names on the chart. In the plan that Rubio released on Tuesday, that includes offices for Africa Affairs, migration and refugee issues, and democracy efforts. It was not immediately clear whether U.S. embassies were included in the installation slated for closing. Earlier reports of wholesale closing of embassies, especially in Africa, triggered warnings about the shrinking U.S. diplomatic capacity and influence abroad. Yeah, that's the America First foreign policy proposals. Some of the bureaus that are indeed expected to be cut in new plans, including the Office of Global Women's Issues and State Department's diversity and inclusion efforts, which have been eliminated government-wide under Trump. The department is also expected to eliminate some offices previously under the Undersecretary of State for Civilian Security, Democracy, and Human Rights, but the fact sheet says that much of work will continue in other sections of the department. Yeah, sure. Sure. It is unclear if the reorganization will be implemented through an executive order or other means. The official plans came a week after the AP learned the White House Office of Management and Budget proposed gutting the State Department's budget by almost 50% and eliminating funding of the UN and NATO headquarters. While the budget proposal is still in highly preliminary phase and not expected to pass muster with Congress, the reorganization plan got initial nod of approval from Republicans on Capitol Hill. I mean, like, if you really wanted to, like, destroy the United States from within, I mean, like, this is how you would do it, right? Like, you would do things like this. You would crash the economy. You would implement policies that would crash the economy. You would create political instability. You would isolate your allies, and you would isolate and essentially forego your diplomatic and soft power, right? I mean, like, that's how you would do it. Change is not easy, but President Trump and Rubio, Secretary Rubio, have proposed a vision to remake the State Department for the century, and the fights that we face today, as well as those that lie ahead of us, and Idaho Senator Jim Risch, that works for me, Republican chair of Senate Foreign Relations Committees, in a statement. Democrats blasted the effort as Rubio and Trump administration's latest attempt to gut vital components of American influence on the world stage. On its face, this new reorganization plan raises grave concerns that the United States will no longer either have the capacity or capability to exert global leadership, achieve critical national security objectives, and stand up to our adversaries, save lives, and promote democratic values, said Hawaii Democratic Senator Brian Schatz. These have always been bipartisan endeavors for good reasons. They make America safer, stronger, and more prosperous, and now they are at risk. The proposed changes at the State Department come as the administration has been slashing jobs and funding agencies and the Education Department to Human Health Services. On foreign policy, beyond the destruction of USAID, the administration also moved to defund the so-called soft power institutions like media outlets delivering objective news, often to authoritarian countries, including Voice of America and Middle East Broadcasting Networks, Radio Free Asia, and Radio TV Marti, which broadcast to Cuba. They think they can become king instead of being consumed by a mob. They're trying to destroy the country. They're trying to destroy the country. They want those digital cities or whatever. They think they can become king instead of being consumed by a mob. Yep. Yep. We're all about fun here, can't you tell? What? Fun? There's no fun here. This is a leftist stream. There's no fun. Bipedal Meatbag, welcome. As if they already didn't control everything. Nah. They always want just a little bit more. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and following. Yes. They want some weird un-American crap. The entire human race can be only one white guy, or else that's communism. True. Yep. Redmond Berry, welcome. I wonder if Trump will open pregnancy centers like they did in Germany in the 1930s. Honestly, this is exactly the mindset that I went to immediately when I read this. Immediately, the first thing that I thought was like, wow, this is just like 1930s Germany. Unfortunately, I find myself saying this like way too much. But here we are. But here we are. RFK is making a list of autistic people. Yeah, and didn't he also say that, like, if you're autistic or if you're ADHD, I forget the exact quote. He said that they should be put in labor camps, or they should be made to do forced labor. Something I'm paraphrasing, but like the idea is the same, right? The idea is the same. He made a comment to the effect of like, yeah, I think autistic people or neurodivergent people should be in labor camps. Trump should become the first pregnant cis man to prove his point about childbirth being good. Nobody's trying to have kids in this trifling economy. They're talking about giving people $5K to give birth. Yeah, 5K is like not gonna. I'm sorry, like 5K is like nothing. 5K in this economy is like pennies. Like I can literally like make 5K disappear just like clearing out all my like account cards and stuff. I'm worried they're going to try and force people to give birth to white kids though through IVF, but that's probably another 10 to 15 years out. That kind of stuff wouldn't surprise me if like this is the kind of stuff that they would be like thinking about. But like, yeah. I think they're planning to do some eugenic stuff. I mean, no doubt about it. Like the way RFK Jr. talks is like, yeah, that's no doubt. Like oh, we're going to make lists and keep track of autistic people. Oh, neurodivergent people should be put in camps. Yeah. My kid's birth was more than 5K. 100%. I have a nephew who has ADHD and is on the spectrum, but his medication has allowed him to focus and do well in school. He seems like a happy kid to me. Yep. The push for women to have more children has a powerful ally. Trump! This is so gross. The White House is emerging as a powerful ally to the burgeoning movement of people. I don't know who this burgeoning movement is, but like, okay, who want women to have more children, but there's little emphasis on the unique level of danger that birth poses in the U.S. Yep. I have autism, guys, not trying to hide it from y'all, but officially nobody will know until this administration is out. Yeah. I'll hold on. Okay. So what he said was that he would he would suggest to people who are addicted to drugs to go on wellness farms where they would grow organic food. That's what he said. This is the article I read, then they cover this completely uncritically. Who said that? RFK Jr. Sisyphean Task, welcome. Well, it's a work camp situation for sure. Yeah. He calls them wellness camps, but like, okay, dude. Ground level news, welcome. And people on antidepressants. Right. On legal and illegal drugs to wellness farms where they would grow organic food. Kennedy said he would create rehabilitation wellness farms where people with drug-related issues, including with psychiatric drugs, can go for a program of rehabilitation that would include job training and grow organic foods for their own consumption. Work will make you free, healthy. Shackles will set you free, right? Freedom is slavery is freedom, or freedom is slavery? Question mark. Sounds like DK's California Uber Alice. Yeah, pesticides don't cause autism. He said it wouldn't be against their will, but like roadkill. No, just fresh fish with parasites. Yeah, Zen fascism. There you go. But I mean, like taken into context with what RFK has said in the past, especially like with the COVID vaccines targeting certain groups of people, implying that like the vaccine was sparing certain groups of people, like Jewish people, incidentally, talking about making lists of neurodivergent people. I mean, like you can kind of connect the dots there. Voluntary until it's not. Right, like, yeah, you don't have to go to my little wellness camp, okay? You just won't get benefits that you depend on. But like, you don't have to go. Or some, like, I could imagine that being a scenario. Even though it's been proven over and over that vaccines don't cause autism, right? And like, doesn't he also want to like relitigate that? The camp will be there and we'll make it bigger and bigger, but you don't have to go, right? You don't have to join our little wellness, our little wellness camp that makes food. you just won't get the benefits that you need. He does, yep. Research and data doesn't matter to these people. Yep, well, this can't be in the US or El Salvador. Unclear yet, but I guess it doesn't matter, right? No, I think these will be in our home. I think this will be in the US if he gets his way. He's part of a group that is skeptical of vaccines. Yep. There's a demographic of people that can't distinguish between people and their own fantasies and reality. If I had thought it meant that means it's real mentality. That's where his find the cause of autism by September is going to vaccines. They already found their own answer. Yep. I wouldn't doubt it if they come out with something like that. And mind you, we already know this, right? We already know that vaccines don't cause autism. This isn't like a mystery of the universe, okay? Trump is talking about using the courts to go after Dems who uphold the Constitution. This is not surprising. Skeptical of vaccines equals pro-disease. Let's call a spade a spade. Yep. I like to think, I like to pretend that I can telepathically talk to my dog and that my plants love me. We have like a love-hate relationship with our plants. And the birds outside aren't using me for my feeder. They like me. Nah, I've already conceded that. The squirrels and the plants. Did you get your garden planted? We have some stuff out there. We have some stuff out there. We have like onions and garlic and our little tree of lime. A couple peppers that are starting. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Ready to make some salsa. Yeah, we also threw some corn on the ground. We'll see how that goes too. Let's face it, these parents aren't going to be willing to pay made in America prices for these tiny coffins. True. All right, let's get through this. Got one. This last article. As I telepathically communicate on shrooms once, there was a bunch of time that night. Two-way exchange of thoughts, but that just one night. But just that one night. Silver lining on this recession: home prices should go down. Soylent Green next solution. Soylent Green solution next. Did you plant at least a couple rows of corn? It doesn't work otherwise. Yeah, you need them to be next to each other so that they can pollinate. We'll see how that goes. We'll see. Experimenting. The U.S. population is aging, presenting a complex and economic and healthcare challenge that pro-natalists argue should be addressed through raising fertility rates. Or, I don't know, like, this is an incredibly wealthy country. Like, the answer is like staring at me in the face, right? It's capitalism. At the same time, the country is facing an ongoing maternal mortality crisis, capitalism, and a politically fraught debate over women's reproductive health, and that has widespread ripple effects. It's just capitalism, dude. Like, it's just capitalism, and like, there's no debate here. Like, you're just saying that women don't have rights. That's the argument. Unfortunately, the housing market will further consolidate on Blackstone and the like until we are officially in company towns again. Oof. Blackstone will be able to easily build its own techno-feudalist empire once it owns all the land. Yeah. I'm watching the housing market. There are some helpful grants for new buyers. You also got to watch them interest rates, too. We're being colonized by the wealthy. 100%. 100%. The pro-natalist movement is splintered into two factions with different views, including some with restrictive definitions of what constitutes a family. There's also infighting over exactly how women should be. This is like actually fantastic. Like, what are you talking about? Debating about how women should be reproducing with debate around IVF and genetic screening. Oh boy. Some of the controversial adherents hold racist views that encourage white people to have more babies could help maintain this racist stability. You mean white nationalists? You mean white nationalists? The White House is soliciting ideas about how to get more Americans to marry and have more babies. The New York Times recently reported some proposals so far include prestigious government-backed perks where people are married or have children, cash baby bonuses, and government funding for educating women about menstrual cycles. A higher birth rate. Advocates are confident that fertility issues will become a priority for the Trump administration. What? I'm old enough to remember zero population growth. Imagine being a stand for capitalism. Oh, I gotta go. Sorry. See you all tomorrow. No problem. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. And thank you for modding. We're entitled to self-defense. That's all I'm saying. See ya. Trump is proudly implementing policies to uplift American families like Medicare for all. No, not that. Okay. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt told the New York Times while speaking at a Women's History Month event last month, Trump said he'll be known as the fertilization president. Whew. That was every time I see this, it just grosses me out. Mexico just banned U.S. corn imports, such as much corn as they use. Apparently, none of it was domestic. There's over 50 Mexican corn strains they will choose from. Huh. Medicare for none if they get their way. Yep. I cringe every time I hear that. Me too. Like it should give you like a physical like reaction of disgust. That phrase made my ovaries shrivel up. As opposed to pull out, and I don't know, man. I don't know what other than like being Trump and knowing what that entails. Like, I don't know what else would compel the president of the United States to utter that sentence or couple of words together. We still have population growth, but in continual growth economy that relies on unemployment, they can't have workers in high demand. We saw that under COVID, and they raised interest rates. The natalist movement has recently received a wave of media attention, sparking in-depth profiles examining key members and philosophies. A separate NYT story recently profiled an event held in Austin called the Natal Conference, which brought together both Christian conservatives and Silicon Valley technologists to discuss how to get people to have more babies. This is just like wild. Wild. Although the movement tends to skew right, it also attracts some progressive voices, including those who criticize inclusion of some far-right members, like white supremacists and misogynists calling for a return of traditional gender roles. Some of the movement's emerging public faces embrace procreation methods controversial among the political right. One profiled in February in the Washington Post has used IVF and genetic selection in procreating. There should all go well. It's soon to be 5 children. I mean, like, dude, just say like you don't need all of this, man. Just say you're into doing eugenics, man. I don't think people are necessarily going to have a lot of kids in the future if the planet is going to be dying and they're trying to use tech to get young men high on misogyny, allegedly. The Third Reich had baby farms too and discouraged use of modern BC. Birth control. Gotcha. But there was a lot less people who were producing in circa 2008 as a result of the financial crisis. They actually anticipate a lot of colleges closing down as a result, since this is a college age for 2008 births right now. And it's happening again. Here I am again, Matt Dillahunt ended his stream. I'm shocked people are having kids right now, to be honest. Who'd have thought that stressing the breeding population would result in fewer births? Curious. And of course, Elon Musk's prolific procreation has received attention lately, especially after the Wall Street Journal published a story on tactics he uses to, quote, manage his babies and their mothers. Ugh. Reasons behind declining U.S. birth rates are varied, and women having more children later in life compared with a few decades ago give them a shorter window to have kids. But beyond concerns about cost or finding the right partner looms a stark reality. Giving birth in the U.S. is more dangerous than in any other high-income country, and that's especially true for black women. More than 80% of U.S. maternal deaths are likely preventable per the Commonwealth Fund, and the Trump administration's cut to the federal bureaucracy have reportedly included maternal health programs. So, like, yeah, that's cool. And a recent study found pregnancy-related deaths have actually been increasing, although rates of highly variable across states and demographics. American Indian and Alaskan Native women have pregnancy-related deaths nearly 4 times higher than that of white women, and black women's rates is nearly 3 times higher per the study. So, yeah. This is some, like, Nazi stuff, man. It really does remind me of, like, those programs the Nazis used to have. Bring those birth rates down. I feel like that's that's handmaiden speak for track us so we don't get abortions, not actual prenatal care. Yeah, that's also that's a good point. That's a good point. Since this administration seems to be very keen on making lists. Yeah, that would not that is not outside of the realm of possibility. Because they are. Yep. I'm doing my part. So bizarre. We live in the shittiest timeline. Let me tell you, folks. We live in the shittiest timeline. Starship Troopers reference? Yep. Alright, folks. I gotta get out of here. It's just over 7 o'clock. The good timeline would be the Soviets winning the Cold War. I'm not sure. Would the U.S. having less hegemonic power be different? Would it stop the fascist tendencies that the U.S. has had since like forever? I'm not sure. We're just starting to have fun. Yep, sorry. Leftist doctrine indicates that as soon as we start to have fun, the show's over. Thank you for hanging out, Mona. Thank you, Sisfantastic. Appreciate that, Kirkenstein. Kirkenstein's monster. No fun allowed. Mm-mm. The moment we start having fun is when the stream's over. Can't have it. All right, folks. I got to get out of here. Thank you all for being here, and I appreciate you guys hanging out in the chat. I appreciate the folks on Twitch. I appreciate the folks on Twitter. Keep doing your thing. Keep liking and subscribing on the YouTube. I appreciate it. If you're on Twitch, keep following. Thank you. I appreciate the support. You guys are what makes this channel go. I appreciate it. Thank you. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the merch store. Check out the hit the exclamation mark tip. I appreciate your support and keep spreading the word, folks. We are here Monday through Thursday about 5 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you guys. If you want to continue to keep up with the channel, join the Discord and subscribe to the Substack. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Heat. Thank you, Michael Hassler, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. As always, folks, we'll be back tomorrow around 5 p.m. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. 5 p.m. Eastern. See ya. All right, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.